Alright, we are live on YouTube and I'll be right back.
Okay, beautiful. Do you want me to wait for you to start breaking everything down?
No, go for it.
Okay. Alright, let me, yeah, I'm going to sound like a broken record for everyone in here, but it's alright. Sorry, boys. Alright. Looking at GJ over here, again, I'm going to try not to sound like a broken record for anybody on YouTube. Let me actually, before I break everything down, let me go onto YouTube and see if anyone's got questions. Let's see how many people are on right now. Okay, we just got one person on. Eddie Kim. What's up, man? Alright. Okay, looking at GJ again. Current monthly candle extremely bullish over here after rejecting 160, also rejected 149 last month. But we have a very strong candle over here that could very well be continuing up through 166, through 168, and continuing up with a further weak Japanese yen with their monetary policy, right? Very weak monetary policy. You're just seeing bears all throughout this pair or this indice. Price is pushing down over here, right? So with that, you're playing the buys on GJ, you're playing the buys on EJ as price keeps pushing up, right? So looking at the weekly now, again, another strong weekly candle here pushing, right? And we're now sitting right above 166. You'll see us kind of retesting it on the lower time frames, but right now we are technically above 166 after rejecting that 167 area over here. So looking at the daily now, the daily we're kind of right back into this range between 166 and 168 right here, right? Price is kind of like sitting inside of it. So are we going to do what we did over here to the left, where we ended up closing above, like we did right here, pushing up into this area, and then, faking this whole area out right here at 166, right? Can we do that right here and push down and continue down? Or are we going to hold support right here and continue right back up? Looking at the 4 hour now. 4 hour looks like we're rejecting that previous resistance here to the left that we previously rejected back in mid-September. We're now sitting in mid-October, same exact date, exactly a month later, we ended up visiting this area, right? So right now, are we going to hold the support is the main question. So draw a little sum right here at 166. 1 hour over here. Now it's starting to get interesting because the 1 hour candle, the two previous 1 hour candles, one of them closed an extremely strong bearish candle pushing through that previous support here on the 1 hour, at least on the 1 hour. He closed through that area, creating this low, coming right back down to 166. Then you get a really weak bullish candle close right at that 166 level, but it did hold support because it closed bullish, right? So my question is, can we create this top wick around 166, 200, flip bearish and pass the low of these candles right here to continue down? I was explaining to the group before that if you're going to take that, as soon as it makes that push, you want to either get your 10 pips or get your 1-to-1 and secure most of it as it pushes through, because we are in this bullish trend, right? And you're trading against the trend. You're trying to call tops up here. And we haven't even closed below this level yet. So it's more of an advanced entry, but as long as you get that top wick and pass the low of these wicks, you can take this down. But again, make sure you're securing most of it, like 80-90% as soon as it makes that volume push, because it could very well snap right back up, take you out, and then this could be a fake out to continue back up. Alright, but most of the time you want to wait for that break and retest, or at least a close below, top wick rejection, and the candle flips bearish to continue right back down. Now that we look at the 30 minute, you're now in a massive range. Previous two 30-minute candles, this one closed a strong bullish bearish candle, engulfing the previous one, or pretty much correcting the whole thing. And then this one ends up holding support again, right? So that furthers your confidence in the fact that you need a close below this area before continuing right back down. All right, 15-minute, again, 15 minutes still holding support. We are creating these lower highs, right? Respecting the previous highs as well and pushing down, but at the same time, we're in a massive bullish trend and we're still holding support here. So just stay patient. It's still pre-New York. We're not getting much volume right now. As you can see, we're kind of consolidating here. What's up, guys? Just reading the chat. But I would wait for a strong close below here. All right. So now looking at gold. Well, now we haven't necessarily broke down gold yet as a group. But right now what you're looking at is the first half of the month has already created its top wick, right? October's already created its top wick in a massive bearish trend when you have central banks. The main fundamentals behind all these pairs and all these currencies is central bank movement, and they're tightening of monetary policy right now. So that being said, you have a very strong U.S. dollar, strongest in the world right now. That's really pushed us down since from all-time highs, 2075, since the invasion of Ukraine, right? Right after that happened, right, pushing us up into that area, the Fed started announcing interest rate hikes, right? And that's what's pushed us all the way down. So looking at the current candles, previous candle closed a very strong bearish candle with a wick to fill, respected the high of it, and now flipping bearish in the first half of the candle. So now the second half, can we continue down to fill that wick, or can we continue down and push even further? KB, I saw that too. How do you feel about that? Does it mean anything to you guys in the UK?
Oh, yeah, I was just reading that right now too.
Right? Got sacked. Sacked is a funny word. For firing. But looking over here now, 1700's holding a strong resistance, right? Previous support, now holding a strong resistance with the current weekly candle, right? Now, are we going to close like this? I'm sure we are, right? It's the weekly, so it's not going to move that much. Shouldn't, at least. Can we close like this, get a top wick next week, and then follow this thing right back down? I think so, especially with the CPI readings yesterday, right? So I say we close somewhere around this area, unless we get a major push down today. But I think yesterday was the main economic data that banks, institutions, and everyone was kind of waiting for. Retail sales is going to reaffirm that, possibly, or go against it. It really depends on what the stuff is here, or what the data is. But I think the main data was yesterday, so we'll see what we end up getting today. But I think the next candle creates that top wick, flips bearish, and fills that wick. And also, sorry, moving on there. It's happened before, right? Strong weekly candle, we retest the low, right? Strong weekly candle, we retest the low. Strong weekly candle, retest the low. With the fundamentals behind it. All right. So now, when we came to the charts yesterday and the day before, we were holding this area. If you guys remember, once we probably gonna end up readjusting this area. I would put it right there for now, though. If you guys remember, once we broke through 1680 here, which I don't know why it's not 1680. Once we broke below 1680 here back in mid-September, right, we ended up coming up to retesting it and then consolidating. We actually called that was going to happen over here, and then price broke out of support, continued down to create this new low, right? Then we come up back to that previous support and kind of, stagger around that area. We don't clearly push through it. We stall a little bit and then we push through, right? So now we create this lower high. Actually, not so much a lower high, but we meet up with the previous resistance up here, right? Kind of fake this whole previous support out of 1700, and we close below it right here, and then we continue right back down to that previous support that we were pointing out. Now, yesterday, we ended up getting a CPI reading coming out, and we ended up causing like an indecision candle. Strong bearish candle close, just as strong as this previous bullish candle close, but we passed the high, passed the low, and created a wick to fill. Right? We also have a clean move to the left, so can we mirror that move and continue down from here? I say so. But it really depends today if we end up holding this support. 4 hour now. Now we gotta readjust. It's a little tricky in here, right? So that's your previous support. You got a resistance, support right in here. We end up closing below that area and coming right back down into here. Trying to mark off. I don't know why I have this horizontal line marked off. But that's your next area, and also the wick fill over here to the left that we could possibly be coming down into. The only thing is the current price action, just reading the anatomy of the candles, strong bearish close, no bottom wick. This candle, no top wick, past the low, comes all the way down into this area and kind of does what I was talking to you guys about GJ and what that could possibly do. Where we push through the support and then we end up retracing all the way back up to the open of the candle, right? So are we rejecting this whole area over here again, or are we going to close below it? It is the 4 hour. So we got about an hour, 20 minutes before this candle ends up closing. So we'll see what's going on, but it looks like we're rejecting some kind of an area right down here.
If I may add, this is also a monthly, weekly liquidity area as well. And you can see that on the 4 hour time frame. I'm going to annotate here. Sure. Where price, every time price comes into this area, there's volume, right? So even just looking at the left right now here, where price taps into it, and then you get a push right back up, trying to break above the 1680 area, which we also know was a very key level for the longest time on the monthly time frame, right? And then you get a push back down, finally breaking below these areas, coming back down into the 1615 level, come back into this area. That's finally when you get a retracement to hold on to a support prior to a continuation back up. As soon as you break above this, remember, all of this is consolidation. We come back into this area, we consolidate once again, and once price rejects into it once again, you got a ton of volume. Look at the following 4 hour candle, no bottom wick, it's just a straight push back up into 1700. You come back into this area, and that's where we ended up consolidating out for the longest time again. So you're sitting in a very, very key level, and this is where you need those fundamentals before price can continue moving in one direction or another.
Absolutely. Just putting this up on YouTube or on Instagram for us. Get some more.
Took a sell on GJ, and I'm about to close.
Did it push through?
Yeah, and they ended up. I took it as soon as it broke the previous lows.
Hey now.
I got in as well.
Wow, we guys gotta let us know here.
Dude, it happened so fast. It literally happened less than a minute ago, bro. To be honest.
See, this is that setup that we look for every time. Every time, guys.
Great setup.
Anybody on? I'm sorry, Lewis. Go ahead.
No, I already got my stops to break even. Took a little piece off, and then I was gonna let it ride.
Good job, man. We capitalize on this every time. You guys, anybody on YouTube or anyone in Sharma's group, we always look for the strong bearish candle close, the weak bullish candle close with that top wick rejection, weak body, very weak body. You wait for the top wick on this candle on the 1 hour. Once it passes the low of this candle right here, or if you're more comfortable waiting for this one, either one, you get this move coming down. Alright, so if you guys haven't grabbed this before, keep looking out for this. Keep journaling it. Keep studying it. You're going to be able to catch it. Great job, Lewis. And Fabian, right?
My bad, I didn't let you know, right? You were in the middle of the conversation. I just went on my MT5 to the short, and I just,
I'll forgive you.
You said about 3,000 points on US 30, right?
Yeah. I don't know where we at now. Yeah, we're actually coming down from 39,200, where I kind of took off a little bit, and now I barely have any risk going. I think I'm up like $30 at this point.
I was taking a sell on that while you were talking.
Were you?
Yeah, I'm in a sell right now for US 30.
Yeah, man, I'm missing out on all these moves, and you guys are.
Damn, bro. Listen, see, I was
breaking
the
down
only
the
one.
chart for
Sharma
you
did it
guys.
too, bro.
I do my civil service, and you guys take your trades while I'm doing it, huh? I'll take it. As long as you guys are winning. As long as someone's winning. But again, great points from Sharma as far as the historical level, monthly level over here. Looking at the 1 hour now, we ended up closing below that area, right? We got clean moves on this area right here. So you can extend that to the left as well. Clean moves here. So can we come up and retest this area, hold the resistance, and then continue down? Or are we now printing, after respecting this support right here, are we now printing a higher low to continue up and further create this weekly wick? Right? If you look at the weekly, or just grab liquidity before retail sales. But right now, as you know, the anatomy of any kind of candle, it normally creates its top or bottom wick, opposite area of, or opposite direction of where the candle's going to end up going. Then it forms its body, and it starts ranging. It starts creating its range with its the highest high and its lowest low. But towards the end of the candle, whether it's a weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, it's all the same. The second half of that candle ends up creating that bottom wick or top wick by retracing from the high or the low that it just created. Right? So could that be happening right now? Again, retail sales is a big thing to come out. We also have University Consumer Sentiment. University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment. University of Michigan inflation expectations as well. And then we got some FOMC members speaking too. Cook and Waller. So could this move gold? Absolutely. But like I said, I could see us kind of closing not too far from the way we are right now, or we just retrace really hard from this area. It really depends. We got to see when data comes out. We'll see how the candle closes, but I could see this wick getting filled tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but next week, and we continue through here. 1 hour still the same. Can we respect this area and hold a resistance? As you can see, higher lows are now being formed here, here, and now again right here. Price is starting to push up from here. Now, you're starting to get back into a consolidation. Between 1680 and 1660 over here has been a consolidation. We broke out, came right back into that area, and consolidated through there. Finally pushed out again. But can we hold this area as a resistance to continue down, or are we going to come right back up into this range over here? Alright, we'll see what the current price action ends up being. Kind of thin this out a little bit. And a lot has to do with this level right here. We're also coming into this previous level as well, but that's our most recent previous support over here that we got to watch out for and see if we hold a resistance at. Because we are printing, even though we're in this consolidation, you do see the lower highs being created, and that's from the Fed, you know, having the market having the sentiment that the Fed is going to continue increasing rates. Also respecting this 200 EMA here on the 30 minute as well. But let's go back to GJ real quick. Yeah, that's a great move right there. Great move. Glad you guys got this. I would have been in this all day too. So what happened? The 1 hour, how did that happen? 30 minute candle. So at 7:30, this candle closed the way it did. A little doji. This candle passed the high right there. And then passed the low at 7:30. 7:35, I would say. 7:35, 7:40 area. We end up getting this strong bearish candle close, a little liquidity grab, and then this candle just tanked. But again, it's really based off the 1 hour and waiting for that 1 hour for that top wick, passing the low of these. Alright, Sergio's got to go. Have a great weekend, buddy. Sharma, you want to do US 30?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm the only one that ever has a camera on. Let's do that.
All right, let's start off with first like the quarterly time frame. Just take a look at what's going on here. So I'm going to mark off the support, and that is going to be that 28,800 mark. That's the same level that we tapped into back in early 2020 before that massive sell-off. Legit, the Fed stepped in, provided liquidity into the markets. That's when, if you guys remember, you weren't able to sell any of your stocks or anything like that. And then finally, we saw a push back up above these areas, and then we came up to the all-time highs, consolidated a little bit, and then a sell-off. Last quarter, we ended up pushing back up to grab liquidity, and all of that was a massive rejection before price pulled right back down into these support areas. So whenever price taps into a key level, looking at the quarterly time frame, monthly, weekly, understand that price is not just going to continue breaking through that, on lower time frames. On higher time frames, you need these retracements, you need these wick rejections so price can grab that liquidity prior to a continuation. So then when you drop down to the monthly time frame, you start to see confirmations of that. So yesterday when CPI came out, and then everyone was wondering, inflation's increasing, why is price bouncing off of these areas, why is there a buy, and all of that. Understand that, again, this was a key level. So there was already anticipations before news even came out. So the day before, if you guys were following the news, there were people from, JP Morgan, from Goldman Sachs, from like all these big banks, which are the quote unquote institutional investors in the financial market here. They are the ones who are pretty much talking about how we know that inflation is going to come out higher than we're expecting. It's going to come out maybe even double what we're expecting. And it's going to continue rising because the Fed needs to increase interest rates higher than 4.5%, higher than even 5%, because inflation is sitting at like 8%. So you need to increase interest rates closer to whatever the inflation number is in order for it to even calm down. So that 4% interest rate is really not going to do much for inflation that's sitting at 8%. And so when that happened, fundamental trading, market sentiment trading, we know that there's not just technical traders in the market, right? So from that perspective, people were already in sell opportunities. And when you drop down to lower time frames, you'll see that consolidation, you'll see that liquidity grab too. As soon as we push down into these key areas, price was not just going to break through it, right? Just because of that. You need to grab that liquidity, and that's essentially what's happening right now when price rebounded from these areas to push it back up into that 30,000 mark, which we'll also see on lower time frames, is another liquidity area because that's where price has been consolidating for many days, right? Any questions about that before we go ahead and move on to any different time frame? All right, make sense for everyone?
No questions.
Okay, perfect. So then I'm going to mark off this month's top wick, which is at 30,500 mark, break and retest, and then a bottom wick rejection right into that area. Nice push up. You come back to revisit into this area, hold on to a support, nice bottom wick, push back up, and that is when you got that liquidity grab on the following candle prior to a continuation right back down. When you drop down to the weekly time frame, you start to see how price is holding on to support in some of these key areas. So for example, where price is making this top wick rejection right here, you can narrow this in if you'd like. I would say like right around there. That's the same key area that price has tapped into before, but you start to see a slowdown in volume if you look to the left, where price slows down in volume here. When you drop down to lower time frames, you'll start to see consolidation here once again. And then finally, we come back to revisit into the same area prior to a push back up, right? And start this bullish rally back up until price consolidates into these areas up top here. And then we hold on to a support. We come back into the same exact area, reject it once again, a little bit of consolidation for a couple of weeks, and then a push back up. Nice rejection, liquidity grab, coming right back down. The following weekly candle, no top wick, no bottom wick. That's how you know that that's a liquidity area right there. We come back and then end up creating a new low, pushing back last week, rejecting into the same exact level. We're revisiting that same exact level right now too. So that's why you need to be extremely careful every time price taps into this 30,000 mark or even this 30,500 mark. That is a very key area where price has tapped into previously prior to any of these bullish runs. Now drop down to the daily time frame, and now it starts to become a little bit more clear, right? All this consolidation that you're seeing. So start off with the left, all that consolidation right here, finally a support and push back up. You come back into this area, and that's that perfect liquidity grab bullish candle right here, with a bottom wick rejection, breaking the lows, tapping into this previous consolidation, and then a massive push back up. We come back to revisit this area once again right here. Same thing, bottom wick rejection, push back up, come back into this area once again here in July, and then a push back up. That's the same exact area that we rejected into. That's that top wick rejection that we saw in the weekly candle. And then bottom wick rejection yesterday, tapping into these key areas in 28,800 with CPI data coming out. And that's really when the anticipation of selling off started, right? Right up top here. And then pushing back down here, that's when you get out of those sell opportunities. You know that this is a quarterly support. You know this is a monthly support. You know this is a weekly support. One CPI data is not going to push you through that. We already know that CPI is increasing. We already know inflation is increasing. We already had hints of that when you look at PPI data that came out. And so you know with PPI data that even for the next couple of months, you're still going to see CPI increasing. Right? That's your hint essentially, and that's how you know what to expect in the future, at least for the next couple of months, until we increase rates even more aggressively. So that confirmed the fact that we're not even talking about a half basis point hike anymore. First, the anticipation was increase rates by 75 basis point hikes in November, and then drop that down to half basis point hike in December. Now the half basis point is not even a discussion. It's a 75 basis point hike, or are we coming in with a full percentage? So that's what we're talking about, a more aggressive approach from the Fed. Push back up, and now you're sitting in the same exact key area. Notice how the daily candle is now pushing back down, almost like a doji. So this is where you need to be extremely careful. This is not where you want to be looking for, any buys right off the bat. Those buys would be more valid if you're looking for swing trade, essentially is what I'm talking about. Those buys are going to be more valid once price breaks above this 30,500. So then you can come back right back up into this 31,500. Anything below this, you're essentially looking for sell opportunities to come back down. But of course, wait for your confirmations, wait for those resistance to be formed. So when you come onto the 4-hour time frame, that's that massive push up that essentially happened in the New York Stock Exchange Open, 30 minutes after CPI data came out. And then we push back up into this area. We start to see the slowdown in the volume here. And then we ended up creating a resistance. Even right now, the current 4-hour candle made a nice top wick rejection, didn't really break the previous highs, rejected right into that area and pulled back down. So if you want to look for those swing trade sell opportunities, you're going to wait for the support here to be broken and then a continuation down. I think safer sells are actually going to be below this bottom wick rejection, just so you can clear out some of the support that's being formed here. So below, let's say 29 800 or 850 area, and then a continuation down from there for any swing trade sell opportunities. It is a Friday, so most likely you probably don't want to be entering a swing trade, and you don't want to be holding onto a trade over the weekend. You would much rather just look for a scalp opportunity and then ride the wave next week when the market opens up. Drop down to the hourly time frame, and we've seen consolidation here in the past, and we're seeing it here once again. So if it's a key area and you see consolidation there, understand that it's going to happen again, right? We've had fake outs into this area. We've had this little consolidation and then come back, consolidate a little bit more prior to a push back down. We come back into this area. You have the same exact thing happening. And then we end up pushing back up, respecting these previous highs. And then this is where you have that hourly sell happening. If you want to look for, those sells once again for swing trade, you want to clear out all of this here prior to a continuation back down. Then you can come back and target right here into this 29,400, 29,500 area as like a partial, and then let runners go all the way down into 28,800. Once price taps into that once again, you're gonna wait for fundamentals to come out to support further sell opportunities. And that could even happen in November, and we could, for the most part, just end up consolidating into these areas for the rest of October. And in November, when interest rates come out and they're more aggressive, whether it's a 75 basis point hike or a full percentage, you might even see US 30 finally breaking through this 28,800. Let's go ahead and drop down to the 30-minute.
Sharma, I'm just going to use the bathroom real quick, all right?
Yeah, no worries. So you still have the same zone, but what I'm going to do is narrow it in even more. So this was your entire resistance area. And then let's say you're looking for scalp opportunities. What you're going to wait for is price to break below all this support, the area that's pushing down to right now. The current 30-minute candle has no top wick whatsoever, so that was a straight seller's pressure right there. So you're going to wait for this 30,000 mark to be broken right there. And then you have your scalp sells coming all the way down. By that time, you're probably going to have retail sales also coming out because there's only like a minute left on this candle. So you want to wait for price to give you any top wicks or bottom wicks and then look for your potential entry. Drop down to the 15 and we're still in that massive seller's pressure. So you just wait for this area to be cleared out and then you look for your sell opportunities. By the time retail sales comes out, you want to be taking partials. You want to be moving to, break even or trailing your stop loss. You want to be risk-free in your trade. Any questions?
No questions.
No.
All right. So this is my entry here. 30,155.02. And then I'm going to take partials along the way here. So that's where I'm going to end up taking partials. The reason why I took this entry was price created resistance here and then started pushing these lows as price cleared out of this little consolidation. This was when Steph was breaking it down. I think it was GJ or gold. And then I used the confirmation from the hourly time frame as well. Made a top wick and flipped back down. So as the hourly did that and 30 minutes started breaking these lows here as well, and the 15 minute also started breaking these lows. That's where I took the entry and then placed the stop loss right above the previous 15-minute high. The thought process is if we're going to continue pushing back down, we really should not be breaking above these highs here. So as price is tapping into this area once again, as soon as we tap into it, I'm going to take some partials close to this area since it is consolidation here, and then let everything else continue down, take another partial here, and potentially look for some more scale-in opportunities. Alright. Does anyone have any questions?
Can you take a look at gold potential sells?
Yes. Are you already in sales?
Nope.
Okay. Alright, so we've got all these key areas from the higher time frame, 1660. Steph already kind of broke these levels down, but drop down to the 4 hour, nice top wick, price is flipping. If I'm going to look for any sells here, I would say wait for price to flip right below this area. $16.54, so you got the hourly close with the nice top wick. The new one just started forming, so that's why I say kind of just wait it out. See if price can end up breaking these lows. If that happens, then you have this entire area to target, so around 55-56 pips that you can target, and then a continuation down from there if price is to continue pushing. But as of right now, I would be careful just because of the daily time frame where price is breaking below the strong support. I want to see if it can continue breaking its own low, and that's going to tell me that there's bearish volume that we can capitalize off of. Otherwise, can this just end up being like some consolidation until news actually comes out? So as of right now, I don't see an entry for a sell just yet. I want to see these lows here being broken.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was looking at if you look at the 1 hour, I was wondering if 1 once news comes out, it creates that top wick, pushes us below these candles over here. And I'm not doing this. I don't necessarily do this, but if you set a stop loss or a sell stop right below this candle right here, for price to continue right back down, I wonder if that would be valid for someone. That's something I would live back test, either this one or this one, because you have the rejection. What's the annotator?
You want to go ahead and share your screen?
Sure.
Go for it.
Can't believe it's 8:04 already. Good morning, Flo. Yeah, it was a great trade for you guys on GJ. I was looking over here. If you guys set a sell stop right over here, maybe your stop loss up here, it could really be above this candle, but it kind of gives you enough room to breathe. Obviously you lower your risk on this anyway because you're trading news. But once it breaks the low of that candle, I could see price continuing down. If news was not coming out, I think if this candle flipped bearish and we have that New York volume starting to come in, once it passes the low of that candle right here, price should continue down to fill that wick. But we have retail sales coming out, so I'm not going to take that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. See it. GJ got that strong close below that area, already getting the top wick. Price is now trying to fill this wick over here. Could we be coming down? We did reject this level over here, so let's see if we stay above that area. Pretty much mirrored this move to the left over here, but if you close below that area, your next level, I could see being anywhere in this wick rejection area, I'd say.
I'm gonna go grab some water. I'll be right back.
Okay. Any questions on YouTube? You good? Killed GJ yesterday using your strategy. So glad I found your channel for real. That's awesome. Great to hear. Eddie, what pairs do you trade? How you guys doing? What do we got in here? Amon? KB? What's up, KB?
What's good, bro?
How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm joined a little bit late.
Good to hear your voice. I feel like you're always in the chat instead of talking.
Yeah. I'm normally busy. My phone's always going off and stuff. But how are you? You good?
Doing great, man.
Love to hear.
Right, getting a haircut after this. I'm happy.
Lovely. I've been there this morning.
What's up?
I already been this morning, actually.
You got a haircut this morning?
Yeah.
Ah, isn't it the best?
Friday, fresh feeling, right?
Oh yeah, need it.
You had a good week?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just what do we get? Started out weak, I would say, and not so much weak. Like obviously you can handle it because it's only like a loss or two. But when you're able to overcome that, and this has happened many times throughout the career, but this goes for any of you guys. When you guys have a slow week or the beginning of the week is tough, you take a loss or two, your confidence starts to weigh a little bit, right? That I'm sure that happens with all of you guys, especially as you get through the week. But don't look at those losses as like detrimental things to your account, as long as you don't over risk. What you look at this is like you just want to start stacking the right decisions, and that's it. So it's like, okay, you took a loss, you managed the loss, that's fine. Now, the next decision that I make in the market, is this the right decision? Am I sticking to my plan?
Yeah.
And another goal for you guys to look at for the end of the week is, like, did I stick to my rules? Right? If you guys are not profiting yet or, you're still in the beginning of your careers, you're not too sure what your strategy actually is, your edge and stuff like that, what you want to do is make sure that you're just sticking to your rules in the market, the ones that you set out for yourself already that do make sense, that you have back tested. But again, like I said, if you still don't have the actual edge in the market, you're still trying to find it out, the rules that you do have set in place, make sure that you're following those at the end of the week, every single day. And journaling, writing about that. Not just journaling your trades, but writing about your session. The more you do that, the better you guys are going to be. And the more you're going to have an understanding of your edge in the market, which gives you better odds at winning.
So,
How about yourself? How's your week going?
yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Just echoing what you said, like, you know, it's all about. It sounds simple, but it's all about sticking to your plan. You know, I didn't take a trade up until CPI, so
Wow, okay.
it was a slow week for me. But then, you know, the movement with CPI, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Worth waiting for it. You know what I mean? And like you said, if you have a tough week, tough start to a week, even a tough month, it's not the end of it. You know, as long as you stick to your plan, your strategy, and you're risking the same, you know, you're gonna be right more time than wrong.
Mhm.
And we've all had tough months. You know, sometimes the markets are so crap and you just caught out all the time. But then you have a good month and then you forget about that month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or we get a good month and then you stop doing the things that gave you the good month.
Yeah.
You know, you start back testing a little bit. You start falling off of that path, and you start getting complacent, and that's the biggest enemy of any kind of greatness. Complacency.
That's how you end up in that endless cycle, because after that, you start questioning everything. You start questioning, like, do I know how to trade, or, you know, something's wrong here, or, you know, whatever it may be.
Markets
But
are out.
it's just that you forget, you know, what got you that little bit of taste of success in the first place.
Yes. 100%. Can't let that happen.
Yep.
So it looks like we're still pushing up here on gold. Maybe still trying to create that top wick. But again, like I said, you guys are still creating these higher lows here. Alright? Respecting that previous support. I do think we're going to continue down, but we'll see about this level here. Anybody got plans for the weekend? Sharma, you got plans?
I will be working on just creating some more webinars, and then doing some back testing sessions.
Okay. What kind of webinar are you working on?
Fundamentals, risk management, technical analysis.
Okay, cool.
Really breaking down, like, just the nitty-gritty basic details.
Okay. Now, what happened with this, what's it called in the UK? Did Trust fire him?
There's discussions about firing him. I think it was live.
To announce mini budget U-turn today. Time.
Oh, yeah. He is fired.
Yeah, sacked as chancellor after mini budget turmoil.
Let
You're
me
gonna see the PM follow suit.
drop that link right here. You can go ahead and open this.
KB, how do you feel about Trust?
I don't think anybody trusts trust.
Yeah?
I mean, there was something that the king said that got caught by one of the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
She must have greeted the king, and he just said to her, "Oh dear, oh dear."
It's trust without the T.
Exactly.
Not the T.
Which is obviously not a good thing when, you know, you're firing people. Important people.
I'm just trying to read through this. But he said the PM's vision of optimism, growth, and change was right, and following the status quo was simply not an option.
Look, this is his letter. Let me drop that in the chat.
Okay.
This was off of Bloomberg.
Rishi back. Rishi was the best. She also came in at a bad time. Oh wow.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they have some of these quotes in the in that article. When he asked me to serve as your chancellor, I did so in full acknowledgement the situation we faced was extremely difficult, or incredibly difficult with rising global interest rates and energy prices. However, your vision about investment was right. So many times, this country has been dogged by low growth rates and high taxation. Oh wow, that's tough when you're like friends with somebody or go into business with somebody and then all of a sudden it just goes sour.
That's why you never do business with friends.
Exactly, never. Can't let the two get in between.
Have a good one, Jamie.
We got a lot of UK guys in here between both groups.
Yep.
It's awesome. All right. As you guys see now, this 1 hour candle obviously closed bearish, right? Now this candle is creating that top wick starting to pass below this candle here. How's the 15-minute just closed? 15-minute, if you guys see, this is that previous 15-minute support. We just closed below it right here with that candle and just confirmed it with this candle as well. But at the same time, it is the 15-minute and it's not necessarily super strong. But I'm saying that we could very well continue now that we're passing low that candle. We could very well continue down and pass, fill that wick. Retest the low. Got multiple rejections of at 1660 area.
We also got bank earnings coming out today, so that's also going to be important.
Yeah, I mean, guys, you guys have a lot of things. I mean, it is Friday too, so you want to calm down a little bit when it comes to taking a ton of trades, but you do have a lot of time here. It's still only 8:16, and retail sales hasn't come out. We haven't gotten University of Michigan data coming out yet, right? So that's coming out at 10, where you have a ton of volume at 10. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but anywhere from 9:30 to 11:30 to 12 o'clock, you've been getting a ton of moves as of late. So if you don't catch one or you miss that trade on GJ, don't get any FOMO. Don't jump into any trades that you're not used to taking. Just stay patient and wait for this news to come out and then trade the reaction to the news. Oh, that's what I was going to point out. The trade I got yesterday, the reaction to the news, was basically, like I said, the only time I take trades on the 1 minute. But it was basically, we've seen this many times, and all of us have traded. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. All of us have traded a lot of these news together, right? And what I did was on the 1 minute, we ended up creating this low. We come up, we close the bearish candle close right here, and I ended up just taking this little scalp right here. From here to the low. That's the reaction to the news. And that was at 8:50. News came out at 8:30, right? So you get all this tanking here. You don't get any of those 1 minute pullbacks over here. If we did, I would have probably jumped in with the data that we got. But it didn't happen until we got this low being created. And then we come up, retrace, get that bearish 1 minute close, and then you just take this little move right here. Like I said, it was a good amount of pips. It was still like 33 pips right there. All right? 10 pips a day is you know, you can make a living. So don't get discouraged if you don't grab this entire move and price just leaves without you. It's fine.
It was a fantastic trading day yesterday.
Oh, yeah. So many clean moves, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that I also got the pullback here. I got to mention 1645, 1644. We come into this area, and you know that whenever you get news coming out too, write this down, guys. Whenever you guys get news coming in, and you get a huge move like this, price is at least going to pull back like 50% of the move before it continues back down. Right? So right over here, once you get this bullish candle closing, this bearish candle closing, but also past the high of that candle, then you get this bullish candle closing in the 30-minute. Bottom wick formed, we pass the high of that candle, at 11 o'clock volume coming in like we talked about, and price just pushes up from there. 15-minute, it was taken on the 30 and the 15-minute as we broke through that resistance and broke above this wick after creating this bottom wick. Make sense? Clean move to the left, take this thing out.
That's the details of your price action. When you start looking at candles enough, when you start looking at, just coming back to really the basics is what's really going to save you. But when you start, looking at why is price rejecting into a particular area, and has price rejected there previously, and how has it reacted, all of that information is really going to help you find, these great setups with like tight stop losses and whatnot. Instead of trying to catch the moves in the middle of the wave, you're able to catch it. You're able to understand, first of all, like what's the next move from the way that the candles are setting up, and then you'll be able to catch them early on. But again, your job as a retail trader, there's a difference. So your job as a retail trader is not to start the move. Anything that you do is not going to start the move, right? Let the bigger players do that. But you can see what's essentially about to happen, and you're able to catch those moves early on. So there's a difference between those two things. You don't want to start the move. You don't want to call tops, bottoms. You don't want to do any of that. You want to wait for that established support. You want to wait for that established resistance. You want to wait for that volume to kick in, and then look for your trade opportunity.
100%.
All right, US 30 is retracing just a little bit, but once we tap into that 30,080 mark, I'm going to take another partial.
Which mark?
30,080. I don't know, why is yours at 30,100 already?
Different liquidity provider?
Probably.
Currency.com?
I'm using Owanda.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm going to take some partials again here.
Let me set all this up here. Mark off the right pair. Right, Quentin? Got gold over here. US 30. Anybody, what's it called? Anybody in this group, or what's it called, in on YouTube or anything in Singapore? Or from Singapore? My wife's aunt just went there yesterday.
Morgan Stanley's results came out from investment banking, and they were down 55% from the year before.
Wow. Really?
Yep, I expect to see something similar with like other banks too.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Then you were saying something, KB?
No, I was going to say there's other ones coming out as well.
Yeah, I think it's like JP Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah, JP Morgan, Q3 earnings, Wells Fargo, Citigroup.
Yeah, Citigroup's came out, yeah.
And the reason why we even care about these banks' earnings instead of like, all the other earnings that are going on and whatnot, is because this is going to give you an understanding of if these banks are losing a ton of money and you start to see them getting into like a liquidity issue, is the Fed going to have to step in and bail them out? And it's not the first time that it's happened. But you obviously don't want news like that getting out either, because you start having bank runs and whatnot, and it just makes the issue even worse.
Morgan Stanley double miss, Citi double miss. Who's iPhone 6? iPhone 6 Plus. Gold over here, still continuing down. I love this setup too. I've seen this so many different times, but with news coming out, I don't want to just jump into that. That'd be a gamble.
Yep,
But a
it's
lot
6
of
minutes
times
before
we
news
don't-
comes out too.
What's up?
6 minutes before news comes out.
Yeah, a lot of the times this book ends up getting filled with high volume. So I'm gonna bring up news. That's what I wanted to do. We'll go to our favorite. There we go. Alright. They're expecting a decrease in retail sales, core retail sales as well.
Well, that's what I was going to also talk about real quick too, for the retail sales. We know that inflation's already increasing on the consumer side, so the retail sales, regardless of whether it comes out positive or if it comes out negative, it's still going to show you information about the consumer. So let's say if the number ends up increasing here, or we remain at like a 0.3% or higher, that's still going to tell you that consumers, yeah, they're out like spending money, but they're also paying a lot of marked up prices for a lot of these goods, services, products, right? But if retail sales starts to drop down, then you'll start to see that consumers are starting to become conservative. In either, whatever way that data comes out, in either situation, you're still going to see that the markets are going to start reacting a bit more heavily, and because that's going to tell you what's going to happen in the next couple of months. In the next couple of months, even if retail sales is coming out, you're going to start to see all that, equities dropping down. You're going to start to see, if consumers are not conservative already, you're going to start to see that they're going to start becoming conservative. And you got to also understand that you're also getting closer to the holidays, right? October is really the last month, and after that, holidays and all of that starts kicking off. So you tend to see more retail sales around this time anyways. Seasonal shopping.
Got a new fan here, Eddie Kim.
He's always been around.
Has he?
Yep.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the other one. Ayo Bosa? That's a cool name. First time here.
Welcome.
We got 16 on YouTube now.
We're increasing those numbers. Thank you.
I like that. I like that. What do you guys share? Alright, got 3 minutes left, guys. The infamous iPhone 6. Hey man, I respect not being the consumer, buying all the latest iPhones. I'm not that person, but that's alright. Alright, minute 45. We should start taking bets, Sharma, of where we think price is gonna go. People just start calling out.
See, that's what makes us different. We don't do that.
Exactly.
Alright, what else do we got? I think it'll be quite like a easy end off to Friday.
What's up?
I think it'll probably be like an easy end off to the week today, Friday.
Yeah, like I said, with that weekly on gold, like I don't see it moving that much.
Because we moved like insane amounts yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because that was the main focus for the week.
Yeah.
You know, CPI, that's what everyone was waiting for. Banks, institutions, retail traders. We'll just see where inflation was. And that's crazy how much it's spiked up, even with interest rate hikes. Not crazy because we've expected all this with all that printing, but at the same time, like, we gotta get this thing under wraps.
And with their target range of what they're sitting at, like it was like 4 point something, and then they increased it to like 4.75 to 5%. It's just going to continue increasing. That's the only way that they're going to be able to control inflation.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I'm just putting this on here real quick as like a live back test to see if the sell stop would actually work. I'll show you exactly where I'd be securing. It came out. U.S. import prices dropped. Core retail sales went up more than expected over here. Gained 0.1%.
Yep, and then look at the month to month. The 0% doesn't mean like there's no sales. That just means that you're sitting at that 0.3%. There hasn't been a change. So that is conflicting data right there.
Yes.
So you're not going to be entering on the current candle. You're going to wait for like the next 5 minutes or so, and then you're going to let price find its direction and then look for an entry.
Trade the reaction to the news. That's why that was only a live back test. Let's go back to US 30 real quick.
So this, the way that price is now setting up here on the 15-minute, what I want to be careful of, and right now I'm like risk-free in this trade, took like 2 partials, but what I'm looking at is right into this area here, where price did push down right when retail sales came out, and again, conflicting data, there's a very high chance that we could probably just continue pushing down here, or we could just end off the day in this consolidation. But we've held on to a support here on the 30-minute time frame, or the 15-minute time frame, and then price made a bottom wick rejection right into that area. So if we can continue pushing above these highs here, that's when I'm gonna close out my trade. So right now I haven't moved to break even, but at this point I'm gonna close out my trade if price can continue breaking above this area. Right now I'm gonna let price test its own range in this little range that it has. Just test the volume, kind of figure out the direction. So I'm gonna wait for the next like about 3 minutes until this 5-minute candle closes, and then based on that, manage my trade.
Love it. What is Harsh saying in the chat?
Oh, he said you guys don't want to be the beta testers for the Fortune 500 companies. You don't want to follow the hype that spent so much money on marketing these products. No, we don't do that. He's talking about the iPhone 14 and the new iPhones, what you were saying.
Beta testers. Okay. Love it. I heard that there's an issue with all the new updates.
The thing is, Apple will actually pay you if they're in the early stages and you can find like any bugs that their team wasn't able to find.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
You know, they actually have a dedicated website for this bug hunting, and I think if you find the highest critical bug, it's like about $1,000 they pay you out.
And obviously that
Obviously
that would take like a little bit of knowledge on your side too, to kind of understand, you know, is it how to resolve that bug, I guess, too, or is it just you find the bug?
Exactly.
Just you find the bug, report it to them, and then they judge like how critical that thing is.
Oh wow.
Because most people are doing this for free.
Passive income.
They're just on their phone all day, and then they're like, oh, there's a little bug. And
They
they'll do
call
anything.
Apple support pissed off.
Yeah.
Why is my
Yeah.
camera button not working?
So mixed data. Yeah, yesterday was the day.
Yep.
Yesterday was a hell of a day.
Yeah, we're kind of testing in these range. Trust is going to deliver economic plans as well today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what it says on Financial Juice.
What a website this is, right? This is the good Twitter.
Right here.
Okay.
So you got that, and then I think today is also the day when Bank of England is going to cease their temporary bond purchase program. It'll be a day for the markets.
Oh yeah. GJ is holding this support right here on the 30-minute and the 15-minute. Now you just got to see if this is going to be a fake out, continuing back into this area to continue up, or are we going to break below this support and can you grab this range? Anybody on YouTube have any questions?
Are you down for the simulation session today, Steph?
What time would you be good? You want to do 3 o'clock?
Yeah, 3 o'clock. After that, I have to head out.
Okay. Might be good. I'm doing a simulation session with Quentin at 11:15. Got to drop someone off at the airport at 2:45.
3 o'clock PST, so that's 6 p.m. your time.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
Would you be able to move it back a little bit?
Yeah, what time?
Because I'm just picking somebody up from Newark at 7.
Okay.
So if we go at 4:45, I would say 4:30, 4:45 Eastern. I can do it with you.
Yeah, that works.
That'd be good.
Yeah, so instead of 3 p.m., we'll do it at 1 p.m. or 1:30 p.m.
1:30 p.m., which is 4:30. Okay. Let's put this in my calendar.
Alright, perfect. So we're going to do the simulation session today, guys, here on YouTube. Instead of 3 p.m. PST, it's going to be 2 hours before that, or actually 1:30 p.m. PST.
And 4:30 Eastern.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. All right.
Alright. Any particular pair that you guys want us to backtest on?
Good for you guys on YouTube as well. If you guys want to join, we'll be on YouTube live. So if there's any pairs you guys want us to backtest, feel free to let us know.
I'm putting a poll on YouTube, so if you guys want to go to the little community tab, and we'll do like either GJ, gold, or we'll do US 30.
What's the community tab?
That's pretty much where you post like, any updates, or it's like a text kind of a thing.
That's on your profile?
Yeah.
Oh, community. Okay.
So if you guys want to go there and then just vote whichever one that you guys want. Depending on whatever we get the most by 1:30 p.m. PST, we'll go ahead and backtest that.
might be done for the week. Unless we get something coming in during the stock exchange open.
Yep.
I don't know if I'll be taking anything today, being that data was so mixed.
Yeah, even with that 5-minute close, it closed below that area that I was looking at, but the next 5 minute, it's really not doing much, so I just closed out my trade.
Gold or US 30?
US 30, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's playing in this range.
So we are done for the day.
Does have any questions? Before we hop off?
Alright, so if there's no questions, we will see you guys for the simulation session today. And as always, if you do have any questions later on, you know where to find us. Instagram at SharmaFX, and then for Stefanos, it's StefanosFX. Have a good one, everybody.
You guys have a great weekend, alright?